This is where it all began. Ground zero of the Hans Niemann Magnus Carlsen saga, the first of their 54 official games recorded in chess.com, and it was played in the 2022 Air Things Masters. Yes, back in the days where 1 in 10 Grandmasters was suffering with air pollution, leading to blunders during games. Thank goodness they sorted out that air quality. This was an online game. Magnus Carlsen with black. It was the prelims of the competition. Niemann rocks up here with the English opening against the Norwegian. He's the American bad boy. We get in response the great snake variation. David Howell is absolutely loving it.
Oh, that was so sexy.
Howling about it, you might say. The clock times are on the left. It's rapid play chess. This is an utterly incredible game here, and the finish is something else. I've never seen Bishop play like it. Niemann's got the centre of the board. Magnus, of course, creating imbalance immediately. He's like, who's this youngster trying to take my throne? What's going on with the arrogance? Doesn't he know who I am here? I've already been world champion ages. If you go bishop e2 right now, it's quite instructive. Black gets d5 and a good pawn structure. This is actually the best move. So often, you don't want to create a chink in the armour. You know, leave those pawns nice and steady. But if you don't do this, well then, it's a bad isolated queen's pawn. This is the game. We still get an isolated queen's pawn for white. But black's got 1-2. That's the big difference. And the pawn's here and not here. So with the extra space, slight lead in development, Niemann stands marginally better, and he takes away this square from some minor pieces. Rook e8, of course. Get that king out of dodge. Please excuse my voice. Not been well the last few days, hence no videos. Apologies, back to it now. We're going to get some Niemann Carlsen special stuff going ahead of the documentary coming out on Netflix, ahead of the candidates starting next week. Do subscribe if you want to go with me on this journey the next month or so. Going to be so much fun. Thank you for everyone who already does. Now we see bishop e3, and this is the moment where you got to hold on to your seats, right? It's absolutely incredible. I mean, let's flip the board. Control X if you want that shortcut on chess.com. You're playing with black here. You know, what are you playing, right? Maybe you're developing a knight or something to open the eyes of the bishop, or moving this one out of the way somewhere. Knight c5 is actually one of the best moves. And then you can get this guy out. But what does Magnus do? Oh my goodness me. That is absolute chess goatery of the highest order. It's almost disrespect levels. It's not a good move, but it's such an interesting imbalance of a move. Saying, look, I am that good. I can beat you from this position. Down a rook for a bishop. Let's flip it back. Pretend we're Hans Niemann. He doesn't cover the pawn. And I love this style of play. He's saying, please take it. And then Niemann wants to somehow get the queen out of the way. This is one idea. If Magnus wants to keep the queens on, this is the best move. But then the rook hits the centre. The white pieces start flowing. Magnus doesn't want that. He wants initiative. He spawns the seahorse. Queen d2 now covers the pawn. Bishop f5 apparently strongest. Fighting for the e4 square. We do understand. Keep this pawn kind of backwards and targeted. But Magnus plays bishop d7. A slight tiptoe in the wrong direction, but it's never easy when you're playing on your own here. They haven't got engines. The bishop moves out the way here, prepares to bring the rook to the centre. Rook e8, rook ae1 covers the pawn. Magnus piles on this gargantuan pressure, but before you can say Hans Niemann, you really need to go and give three-armed Magnus a big hug. We know you're the best of friends, really. Let's all kiss and make up. He gains space over there on the queen's side. This knight jumps into the centre. Bishop takes. Knight recaptures. You could definitely take that one off the board, but this queen centralises. Magnus has the option to support the knight. Decides no. He takes off here. He's always very hesitant to weaken his king, so we do understand. And now he puts the bishop on this diagonal, hits the rook, it lifts, and you don't want to be taking that pawn. It's technically possible because then you can run f5, f4 and cemento it, but white gets a ton of initiative. Rook swinging to c2, counterplay down the c line, it's not actually best. So Magnus just drops back and hits that queen. She ducks back to c2, and now he puts the squeeze on with the h pawn here. Pawn a4 in response. What was preferred? Pawn e4 apparently. Leave this one back. But this looks so natural. Kick back the bishop, gaining more space. Now we get pawn e4. Rook c8 from Magnus. And to give you a sense of how tricky the position is, queen b1 is best. Leaving the bishop to munch this pawn, and then playing rook c1 and challenging the file. And if takes, queen takes, you lose another pawn, if you can visualize that. So some weird computer lines where you just give back tons of material to get active play and check down here with your queen and stuff and eat this pawn. But Niemann doesn't do it. He plays the human, sensible, understandable move, cover the pawn, rook c3, don't sleep on this guy, don't walk into a discovered attack. So queen d1 stays with the pawn, stays with the d4 square in some lines as well, because g5, g4's actually a very powerful idea here. Such a cool line. But Magnus misses it. He plays rook c4. Really practical, attacking chess, hitting two pawns. Pawn e5 was played in response, and it's more great, aggressive, initiative chess, because after Magnus takes, what does Hans Niemann play? Bang! He punches Magnus in the face. Well, no, he pushes the pawn. That's all that happened there. I've got to try and embellish it somehow, especially when I'm half dying over here. Rook's attacked. If takes, it's bad because queen takes and this pawn lives. So the best is actually rook c6. This is the game. We saw this takes. You could have gone b5 too, but not played. Let's stick with what happened. Queen takes, and oh boy, you don't normally want to be taking the queens off against Magnus. I mean, look at Gary the GOAT. He loves it when Magnus is in a queenless endgame. Big fan of Carlsen's, has been for many years. Knight g5's on the board, going for the f7 weakness, and it's not easy to defend. If bishop e8, well, you just hung a bishop. If bishop e6, then I guess we take and mangle the structure. So Magnus plays the best. Bishop f6 hits the knight. The rook holds the bishop. He's holding it all together by a thread. I mean, the way he tiptoes this position is really out of this world good. He's just in time with this check. Watch the bishops. You have never seen a laser pair like this one. It's some pure Star Wars stuff over here. One of these pawns is dropping. So we get r2d2, a real favourite of Hikaru's, but bless him, poor guy, he can never remember the name of the robots.
h5d2, 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 c5, h5d5, e1, e1.
Now we see this pawn dropping off the board. Should really stop playing that clip. Sorry, I need new memes and stuff. Do help me out if you ever want to hit up the email inbox, or I'll have to spend some time one day just making some, or get an editor or something. I don't know. I do my best out here. Your support's always appreciated. Rook takes is played. Bishop recaptures here. And knight d6 is absolutely the best because you hit the pawn, but you also pressure the king. So bishop c3, double whammy. We see rook e4, lifting, shifting, protecting. Pawn b5 from Magnus. I mean, this is incredible. Two bishops are usually losing all day, every day to a rook in an endgame like this, and a knight combo. I mean, you really have to tiptoe carefully with black to make this work, but that's what Magnus does. Let's jump back one move. Rook a8 was actually better because you're winning this pawn by force. You know, bishop takes, hits the knight, but you can check, and the king can't go anywhere decent. If you come to f6, there's a discovered check. King goes somewhere. You pick up the pawn. Don't go there. You just drop to bishop. This is why my blitz chess rating isn't the same as Magnus's, and many other reasons. But we'll call tactical blunders a key one. Anyway, you get the point. You could have won this a pawn, and I mention it because when Niemann goes for this, so natural, check, king going, he doesn't pick up the a pawn in this line, and it means the a pawn gets running. You get a nice pawn bishop cube. You don't get that every day. I guess we should have a name for it, and it's so dangerous. Now Niemann, to be fair to him, forms a mating net. I mean, he throws everything at Magnus. The kitchen sink, punches, they're ducking, they're rolling, they're weaving. But Magnus is always just that one step ahead. 5 minutes up on the clock as well. This rook slides behind the pawn. Best move. Now we get a4 played. And Magnus has just seen it all. Niemann goes for g4 to start with. There's a really, really nice idea that he's setting up here. Takes. He jumps with the knight, creating the mating net, because the king can't step here because of the knight, can't step here because of the pawn, can't step here, of course. This is literally a mate in one threat. How are you parrying? g5, okay, makes sense, but h5. This is what Niemann was setting up. This is why he pushed the g-pawn first. Takes, go knight f6, threaten it, g5, h5. He's done everything right. Magnus Carlsen is about to get mated. Niemann's going to be telling all his mates down the pub. I mean, I guess grandmasters don't drink, but you get the point. But no, Magnus, that one step ahead, as always, plays the killer defense. Bishop c2. He's the real minister of defense this game. And you can't mate. So what to do? The best is actually rook a6, setting up these discovered checks. King can't move very well. I guess you can come to g7, but then you can push with the pawn. There's a cute tactic. Takes, I suppose, what? Knight d5, check. No, wrong move, sorry. Here, pick up the bishop. There's me mixing up my squares. Now, after this rook a6 business, you can move this bishop because it's in the firing line. Bishop e1, apparently good. Sorry, my mouse is frozen here. Okay. The battery's just gone. Please bear with me 1 minute.
A few moments later.
Okay, new battery in the mouse there. My lovely, kind and caring, considerate wife kindly passed me one just now. Clearly overdid it with the arrows there. Burnt the old battery out. Let's get back to things here. Rook a6 wasn't played. That would have been the discovered stuff. Best, but incredibly difficult. This was selected. Very natural move. But Magnus now goes to work. Hits the knight. We see a check. But as so often happens, when Magnus is playing weaker grandmasters, they unravel. Deep in the forest, in the dark, dark woods, they can't keep pace. Again, there's a mate threat, but check. King g3. Mate next move threatened, but check once more. The bishops just working their magic. And now, surprisingly, it's not the queenside pawns that win the game. It's the g-pawn. Gary doing the business, bishop attacked, but pawn g2, completely ignoring this, because if you take, the queen is made, and that's all she wrote. If you step back, well, there's a discovered check, skewered check, let's say. King moves away, the queen is made. This was the final position. Magnus took home the first game they ever played. Lovely smash in the Great Snake variation. Do hope you enjoyed this one. Do have a look at the video on screen if you want to see the chess game of the decade that we waited so long for. And I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.